Hi, everybody. Welcome to Chapter 6 of your PDE exam. Um, I made notes on the actual exam uh, 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 file that you're going to take into the examination center. You are welcome to copy my notes, to make your own notes, or use the file, which I will send you the PDF file as well. I want to share my screen with you now, so I'm going to turn off my camera and hang in with me that I can just share my full screen. Let's just go there, my entire screen, and I'm going to share it. And you should see my screen now. And there we go. You should also have in your file your PDF version of Chapter 6. Now, Chapter 6 is about oral and written communication. We have done sections on communication already. The purpose of this chapter is to listen effectively and critically to any communications. You have to be able to identify and adopt styles of languages in different situations with your clients. Not everybody is going to be the same. So you will have to adapt your communication style. This is what the purpose is of this chapter. And I just on page 307, I highlighted the purpose that you can know what it's all about. This is now the following chapters 309 upward. It's your unit standards and your critical cross-field outcomes. Now, I'm at page 311. At the introduction. So they have an activity for us, preparation. What will you do if you have to prepare for a speech? Now, this can be a question in your examination paper. So first of all, you're going to look at your preparation. You're going to ensure that you properly prepare for a speech, okay? You're going to determine the purpose of the talk. Now, if I was you, I would align this numerically. I will say, first of all, the proper preparation. First of all, determine the purpose of your talk, okay? Are you going to deliver information, or do you want to try to persuade your audience, okay? So that will influence the content of how you're going to present your speech, okay? So in this case, the activity, you're going to try to convince people why they need to use your real estate firm. So you're going to convince them why your firm will be the best option to go with. Okay. Now you're going to make some notes, and this is just examples, but everything will be more or less on the same principle. Okay, so there's some notes why your firm will be the best, etc., etc. We're going to move on to page 313. Now you're going to write. This is all again with preparation. So you're going to sort the information in logical order. So first of all, you're going to determine, okay, why, what kind of speech, what information people need. Then you're going to sort the information in logical order, okay? And very important, each point must connect to the previous point, okay? Or it must relate to the previous points. First of all, a good first impression is to gain the attention of your listeners. So maybe you will have like a nice introduction. Now that you know the order of your points of your speech, and you're also going to end your speech with a message that they can think about, So you're going to provide an opening and a closing, okay? In the opening, you need to gain the attention of your audience, as I mentioned, okay? and introduce them to what you will covering in the presentation, just maybe quick bullet points, okay? You will initially greet the audience and introduce yourself, maybe just a small background detail about yourself. Um, and how are you going to get their attention? You're going to maybe share something very interesting that grabs their attention. Maybe some article in the news or something about the property market or whatever the context is. The context is in what you, how you present your speech, for what purpose it is. Okay. Um, you're going to follow the points, the logical order of the content, and then you're going to persuade your audience in a positive way, in a strong and positive way. Okay. Um, you can maybe tell them about the good reputation of your firm and the kind of service that your firm can offer. Um, in your last point, you will emphasize the capacity of your estate agency, maybe how many people, your stakeholders involved, your bond originators, your lawyers that's working. So, yeah, this is now all to do with the content. And you end your speech and you're going to leave a good final impression. You're going to leave your audience with something to think about. Okay. Um, we're moving on to page 315 now. Okay, this is now again a definition, a rhetorical question. It's one that you do not expect to receive an answer to. Okay, so I highlighted this with you. You might get a question. What is a rhetorical, rhetorical question? Sorry. um, so you just use the question to make a point or a statement, but you don't expect to get any answers of that. Okay. So now you're going to do a speech. You're going to actually practice the speech. A lot of you, you can do it on Zoom and record yourself or in the mirror. Best way is to record yourself and see where you made mistakes. You're going to look at your tone. Again, there's a definition of a tone. A tone is the use of pitch in language. Um, you're going to get a lot of definitions because they want to see if you understand what it is in the context of the definition. Okay, register means the type of language you use for a particular setting. Okay, formal and informal register. Now, with this speech, you're basically going to use a formal register. It depends on the type of audience that you are addressing. Okay. Whenever preparing to deliver or actually delivering a speech, you must always be aware of your tone and your register. This could also be a question. This is why I highlighted this for you. So they might ask you, when you prepare a speech, what must you always be aware of? And they're going to say A, B, C, D, or E. And then tone and register is going to be there somewhere. So you have to mark chapter 6, index it also. It's communication. So you're going to get a lot of questions about communication, and you might think it's not important, but yes. Here again is body language. Try not to hide behind a table, stand up straight, always maintain eye contact with the audience. Be careful what you do with your hands. Do not scratch yourself or grab stuff in a nervous manner. Or I recorded myself with Zoom when I had to do a presentation for University of Essex, and I was touching my face so many times it actually looked not normal. So it's maybe a good thing that you record yourself, for future events that you want to prepare yourself with. Dress in an appropriate manner. Don't avoid wearing sunglasses. Um, the way you use your voice is also part of your body language. Okay, so this is good. If they ask you something about body language, you've got the bullet points there. Okay. Um, This is also very true. You will always try to box and analyze your audience. See, okay, this is like very old ladies. They're going to like maybe an introduction about recipes or knitting patterns. And this, what you're basically doing is you box your audience in, and you can be so wrong. Don't make any assumptions. Maybe those old ladies are all very literate and are scientists, and they don't want to hear your recipes or your knitting patterns, etc., etc. They're going to appreciate introduction, a short introduction, and maybe more statistical information, where you analyzed something. So be careful to make assumptions, okay? Always try to be neutral when it comes to values, attitudes, and assumptions, okay? Because that will involve very little risk that you can offend someone. So that will be very good. Now, in the summary, they basically prepared, or they basically summarize the whole speech. Okay, so you prepare your speech, you arrange the information logically. Remember, I told you bullet points, so make a reference on the previous pages and see summary on page 319. Okay, you wrote the speech paying particular attention to the opening and the closing. Now, this is very important because they okay, this is now in logical order, how you should do this. So they're going to say, if you prepare to present a speech, what will you do? And then they can put the logical orders for you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and maybe someone else, or maybe another different logical order. And then you can go through that and compare and say, oh no, I must do this, this. You arrange your information, you write out your speech, then you practiced it, you looked at your body language, blah, 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 and then you made the speech. So this is just your logical order, how you will prepare for a speech. Okay, so highlight this because I think this is important. If we move, there's your self-assessment questions. It's very important to answer this. Okay. And maybe make notes there. I'm not going to answer it for you because I don't really think they might ask you questions on your self-assessment. But the summary is quite important, and your definitions. Okay, so this was chapter 6 in a nutshell. I'm gonna stop to share my screen now. Let me just quickly stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to turn my camera on. So this was a very short chapter. In the next 2 weeks, I will present chapter 7. And I will also just send you the chapter, the PDF chapter of chapter 6. Okay. If you have any questions, you are more than welcome to WhatsApp me or email me, and I will gladly answer your questions. Anything on these chapters, please feel free to contact me. Okay. Have a lovely day, and that's all for me for now. Cheers. Bye-bye.